My name is Dr. Patricia Norris-Parsons, and I work in the Early Childhood Department in the College of Education. This is not the first course that I have done online, but it is one of the first courses that I actually went through the review process with Quality Matters. So I have been teaching online for a number of years, but I'm going to share with you today some important elements that might help you to decide to put your course through the Quality Matters program. Okay, the first question is, what did I expect before my Quality Matters peer review? Actually, I'd had a lot of information from Doug Harrington about what the review would be like, so I was not too intimidated by the actual review itself. I was anxious about meeting the people who were going to be my peer review committee. I did get very anxious because I'm from the education department, and I noticed that there were people on there from the psychology department and from the research department, as well as the education department. And so I was kind of anxious about that. How did you feel before your course peer review? I wasn't too nervous initially because Doug had been a great mentor and had told me what to expect. Once I actually met the committee and we had conference calls, the nervousness was dissipated almost immediately. They made me feel comfortable, but they made me feel like they were there to help, and so I went into this peer review with a whole different expectation. How did the review help you to better understand your online course? Oh gosh, I think that it helped me to delve so much deeper into the content. I was amazed at how much you could actually accomplish online because we took a face-to-face class and put it online. We also took the research foundation element out and made it teacher-designed research so that it was more applicable to educators, so that the teachers could actually do this research and then apply it to what was going on in the classroom and see outcomes from it. So the whole process to me was very, very enlightening. I found ways to present an online, fully online course that were just as exciting, I felt like, as if I had been in the classroom in person. And that was my personal goal for putting the course online, is how can I take something that has been face-to-face and is so animated to putting it online so that students would actually feel like they were there learning something. But we had enough diverse activities and different modes of medium in this particular class that I think that I benefited from it, the students benefited from it, and the committee was very acceptant of the things that we tried that were unusual and different. Did you develop the course differently knowing that it would be reviewed? Yes, of course I did, because I had a rubric to go by, and I was very determined that I would follow that rubric as closely as I possibly could, and I was striving for perfection as closely as I could get to that with this course, because not only because of the value of the course, but because, as I mentioned earlier, I was trying to bring something face-to-face to fully online. The course was developed in such that students were able to almost individually do this course. I was there for mentoring purposes. We did collaborations, we did group discussions online, we did a lot of things where I actually interacted with the students. But I think by developing this course with that rubric, I was able to give them a lot of diversity in the different things that they turned in. So it was just not postings, it was actually, some things were animated, some things were group discussions, then some things the whole class met on, some things were small groups. So all those elements that you have in a classroom, you can actually bring online, and the rubric shows you and tells you how to do that. One of the most important things that I learned in this experience was that the rubric for Quality Matters also wants you to think about critical thinking skills. And I thought that would be lost in doing a totally online class, but it was quite the opposite. The rubric allowed me to do all those things that I would want to do in a face-to-face classroom. How did the peer review change online teaching for you? My committee was excellent. After they reviewed the course, they gave me feedback, and just doing the course online was such a challenge. To be honest with you, I know some of you are living in trepidation of trying this with your own courses. It did present a challenge, but I was determined to make it work. And the nice thing about it is that while I was teaching the course, I could tweak it because the committee had already seen certain parts of it, and I knew what I needed to change that wasn't working, and so I could change it. And I really liked that aspect of it. It was a great experience for me personally, and my students learned a great deal about it, which I think is one of the other questions, and I'll explain that. How do you think students will enjoy the course more as a result of the peer review? I don't think I would have gone as far in depth. I don't know that I would have had the rubric to go by if I had not done the Quality Matters program. I just can't tell you how much it helped in the amount of emails that you receive from students. I've been teaching here for 16 years, 17 years, and I've taught in every fashion conceivable. And this last semester I had fewer emails for questions and fewer postings for questions of any semester that I have ever taught. And I think it's the comprehensiveness of the way Quality Matters wants you to write these courses that keep you from spending so much of your time answering questions, because students are figuring it out themselves. And that's what we want them to do, isn't it? We want them to be self-directed. We want them to be self-correcting. We want them to reflect. So the rubric allows you to give them rubrics, and it explains that you have step-by-step directions throughout all the modules. And by doing that, everyone really knows what is expected of them from the moment they read the syllabus. They can read ahead and work ahead. They can work at their own pace. There's room for extensions to be granted on certain assignments, so it works for every type of student, no matter what the student's educational background or learning style might be. Do you expect students will experience fewer problems following the course peer review? I think I answered that in the last question, but I would encourage any faculty member to try and use the Quality Matters rubric to go through the course with the people in the department. Actually, Doug Harrington was assigned as my mentor, and he worked with me so closely that by the time I did the self-evaluation, I was so confident that the course was good that I was not nervous about presenting it to the committee at all. I think it was an excellent course. The students thought it was an excellent course. The grades were better in that course than you could have ever imagined in a research course. So that pleased me immensely, because research has always been one of the more difficult topics in the College of Education. Everyone came out with outstanding work, and I think there were fewer problems not only for the students but for me. And I think it all boils back down to just having made as perfect a course as you make, following a rubric. We need them as much as the students do, and it helps tremendously. Did your course pass review the first time? Yes, indeed it did. It passed the very first time, and I was exceptionally pleased with that. And again, that was because I did an excellent self-evaluation. I had a wonderful mentor. I don't think I could have done it without Doug and Dean Ehrlichs earlier on. They both stood by my side through this and helped me through any problems that I was having. If I couldn't get the writing just right, they mentored me on that. And I was really thrilled when my course passed in the first review. What advice would you give to other online educators whose courses will be peer reviewed through Quality Matters programs? Don't let it make you anxious. Don't lose sleep over it. Get a good mentor. Follow the rubric. And I highly encourage you to do it because as answered in the other questions, it makes such a difference in the way the students perceive the course, how well they do in the course, how they reach the objectives, and the way that you are able to evaluate them on the course and the research that they're doing or whatever your objectives are. So my advice to you is yes, by all means, just take one course at a time. Do one a semester. Don't try to do two at one time. Do one a semester with good mentoring, and I'm sure that you will be just as pleased as I am. Thank you.